Okay, so here we are picking up where we left off with our last video, and we've got our web page foundation built, and we've got the doc type declaration, we have the open and close HTML tags, we've got the open and close head tags inside the HTML tag, and we have the open and close body tag inside the HTML tag. And by the way, the body tag and the head tag are equal. They're called siblings in this case because the body tag is not nested inside the head tag, but kind of alongside it. The title tag is nested inside the head tag, which is nested inside the HTML tag. So you'll get used to this as we continue to add tags and add content. But I wanted to also address if you had closed your notepad and then tried to open up, let me reduce all this so you can see the file over here. If you had tried to open up this web page .html file by double clicking it, there's a good chance that on your PC, on your computer, it just opened it as a browser window, because that's the default action for an HTML. If you want to open it back up in your notepad, you have to right click on it, and then you have to say open with, and then you have to navigate to notepad. And it may not be in this contextual menu. You may have to click on choose default programs, go into here, and then find notepad and so forth. And you may want to keep this unchecked because you may not always want HTML files to be opened as notepad. So that's just one of the little quirky things that we have to go through when we're coding with free software. So that's what we deal with. All right, so let's get our environment back. We've got our code page here, and the browser is there. So I've got both my notepad right here. I've got two windows open, and they're just overlapping. This is the notepad that has my code in it, and then if I click on this, it takes me right into the browser, and I can see there's Jeffrey's page. There's the little tab that comes from the title tag. Okay, good. Let's move on. So we're going to add some copy now into the body tag so we can actually see something on our web page, because right now it's just a big blank page. That's kind of boring. We don't want that. So let's get right here with our cursor, and we're going to hit a line break, which is just enter, and space over 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 4 more because we're nesting this tag inside the body tag. 1, 2, 3, 4, and we like to see that. Again, it doesn't matter to the your browser, but it helps us to see the structure of our web page better. All right, so this tag is going to be a content tag, and it's actually called a heading tag, and this particular tag is H1. So now that you know that, you should be able to do this. Just like that, and there's the opening H1. Everything, by the way, in these, the name of all the tags is lowercase. Don't capitalize them. Keep them all lowercase. You see, just like I have them here, nothing is capitalized in the tags. Now, between the tags, where you have content, you can capitalize your heart's content. This is what's considered for human eyes, because this is what humans see. This is considered for computer eyes. That's what the computer is looking at, and the human eyes don't see that. So we have our H1 opening H1 tag, and then we're going to put a closing tag. You should be able to do that if you hadn't already done it ahead of me. And there it is. We've got an opening H1, a closing H1. Now, what does that do, for heaven's sakes? Well, this is going to style the text that I put in here, and it's going to make it big and bold because this is a heading text. So I'm just going to write, I'll write the same thing I wrote in the tab. Nope, actually I'm going to write something different here. All right, so I just wrote some text in here. Notice I have capitals, I have a space, I even have an exclamation point. Now, when I save that, we're going to expect to see this show up in the browser window. So let's do that. So I hit Control S, or you can go up to File, Save. You don't have to save as because we've already named this document. See, the name of it's right up here in the upper left-hand corner of the window, web page. is the name. And it is a notepad file. All right, so I saved that. Let's see what happens. I'm going to my browser. Now I have to hit refresh. That's this little doohickey here. By the way, I'm in Firefox. You may have Safari or Internet Explorer, and your refresh button will be in a different place. So I hit that, and look at that. There it is. Hello World. Big and bold. Large font, bold font, and so forth. And all that happens because Firefox browser knows that when it sees an H1 tag, it's going to style the content in between the opening and closing tags to these specifications. And this is some large font, and it is bold. And you can even override that, but that's a story for another video. All right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to copy this, because I want to give you another example of another tag, and I don't want to type it all out. I'm not big on typing. I'm bigger on copying and pasting. Whenever I'm using pretty much the same code or the same content, and I'm just changing a few characters, instead of typing the whole thing out again, I'm just going to copy and paste it and then change the few things I need to. So Control-C is the way I copy things. I'm going to do a line break, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. You may be wondering why I don't tab. The tab is set bigger than 4 spaces, and I could have. I just choose not to. And I'm going to paste that. So now I have 2. Hold on, let me turn off my heater, my very overly loud heater. Sorry about that. So now we have a duplicate of this H1 Hello World and closing H1. And all we're going to do is change the 1 to a 2. See what I mean when I said I didn't want to type all that out if I only need to change a couple characters, which I do. So I've changed this to a 2. So this is an H2 tag. Similar to the H1 tag, only you're going to see how different it is. I'm going to save that. I'm going to go to my browser, and I'm going to refresh. And I see Hello World down here. It's a little smaller in font, and that's basically it. It's still bold, but it's just a little smaller than H1. So now we've learned that H1 is the largest heading text, and then you go down from there, H2, and you go down H3, 4, 5, all the way to 6. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you an example of that, and you can do this as a test yourself. I'm going to copy those, and I'm going to paste those underneath. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and paste. And I'm going to do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and paste. And now I should have 6. And I just need to change this one to a 3, and this to a 3. This one will be a 4, and this one will be a 4, and you kind of get the idea. But we're going to take a look at exactly what this cascading style looks like. That's a 5 and H6. All right, and save. Now, if I go to my browser, let's see what happens. Refresh. I should see a lot of Hello Worlds, and in descending size pattern. Okay, it gets really small, but they're all bold, you notice. Even this one, way down here, tiny, is still bold. And a couple interesting things you may notice. We've got this big space between each one. That's also built into the styling of the heading tag. It's actually a margin, top and bottom margin on each side of the text and so forth. And we'll get into that more in the advanced videos. But I wanted to show you one more thing. I'm going to put one more tag down here. And let's go ahead and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Paste that. And I only need one of them. So I'm going to delete that. And I'm going to make this, instead of an H tag now, this is going to be a P tag. And P stands for paragraph in our HTML code. So this is an open paragraph tag here. And then I have my closing paragraph tag here. Now normally I wouldn't put this just around a couple of words. I might, but generally this is reserved for chunks of text like paragraphs of text. And I would put the open here, and then I might have a whole bunch of lines, maybe 5, 6, 7 sentences, and then I would put the closing p tag way at the bottom of that. So we'll take a look at some of that later. But what I want to show you is that the p tag is small and unbolded, but it's still bigger than both the H6 and H5 heading texts. So let me save that. Let's go to our browser, let's refresh, and we'll see what it looks like. Notice that Hello World here looks very different than these that are H1, H2, H3, H4 because this is a p tag, and this is the style that Firefox knows is the default for a p tag. All right, so now you've got content on your page, and you know about heading tags, and you know about p tags. Aren't you excited? Well, we're going to move forward in the next one, so stay with me, and thanks for hanging in.